Let's start this with a prayer. Dear Father, I thank you for this day and this opportunity to be used as a vessel to let your people know that you are available, able, and ready in the name of Yeshua from Nazareth. Let's cut this bread. Ezekiel 18, 24 and 25, and then Ezekiel 20 through 29. It's coming from the contemporary English version. Ezekiel 24. But when good people start sinning and doing disgusting things, will they live? No. All their good deeds will be forgotten, and they will be put to death because of their sins. 25. You people of Israel accuse me of being unfair, but listen, I'm not unfair. You are. Ezekiel 20 and 39. Go ahead and worship your idols for now, you Israelites, because soon I will no longer let you dishonor me by offering gifts to them. You will have no choice but to obey me. Dang. Listen, ain't nobody like God. And I love it when he, when he got to set the record straight. And this is like, spending time with him, getting to know who he is. Like, y'all really thought you was rolling with some killers out here. Ain't no killer out here. Listen, can't nobody hold a candle to God when he's about to lay it down. And I love it. Now, maybe you don't come from the streets, but, listen, I done seen a lot of gangster stuff happen in my life, and I know a couple of gangsters that would really get down, but I ain't never met nobody like God. And God supersedes anybody that you could ever think or imagine could have some type of power anywhere. Now he's talking to his people, Israel. The Israelites are super stubborn. They keep going back and forth, and it's a back and forth thing all the time with God. But like, God is still so compassionate, because he's like, look, y'all been out here wilding, doing whatever you want, and then you got the nerve to come and be like, oh God, you ain't coming through. Listen, I thank God for coming through, right? But he ain't got to give an answer for nothing to nobody. And we don't understand how Yeshua has put us in this position to have a dialogue with God, even though we're super rebellious. Look, maybe you ain't rebellious, but I done been rebellious, like with my mouth, with my mind, with my motives, like super rebellious. Like, God, I'm going to do what I want to do. And then I know what it's like when it's like, but when good people start sinning and doing disgusting things, will they live? No. Ain't nobody that can get away with doing something shady in front of God, because, man might not catch you, but God is going to catch you every single time. You don't feel right anymore. You can't walk around and you don't have that pep in your step, because, like, I'm going to take me for example, right? I used to get off on talking at people. Listen, I was a firm believer in check your baby daddy in front of everybody to let them know that he was weak and you weren't. Now, it's still a person. And now I struggle with it, because it's like, part of me wants to go back and check them, right? And be like, oh, you did X, Y, and Z. Whoa, whoa, whoa. And God is like, let that go, right? But if I just would have stayed in that, I was rotten. And I don't think that people really get, like, the level of, like, rottenness that I was. I mean, you see me do the videos, you hear me talking, obviously there's been a lot of correction that has been done to my moral character by God, and him, like, really, being like, hey man, you better freeze all of that, stop chilling, like, chill all of that, stop being reckless with your mouth. Act like you got some sense. Act like you know how to talk to people. Act like you ain't broken. Because that's what broken people do. Rebellious people want to keep, whatever it is. All their good deeds will be forgotten, and they will be put to death because of their sins. You literally get put in this spot of nothingness. And this is where, and I was telling somebody today, like, the nothingness was everything to me. Like, I felt some type of way talking to you, and, and especially my baby daddy, really just men in general, because, I felt some type of way, holding a lot of animosity towards you know, my dad for leaving, for the dudes that were with me, that cheated on me, that did whatever. So, you know, I progressively got worse through the years. And that's just one example, right? And being nothing, like literally just dead and just now, maybe I'm the only woman who has had that problem, and maybe I'm the only woman that, you know, God has ever checked, but I highly doubt that. But I know I am a woman that can come through and be like, look, this is what I did. This is how I was. This is how I moved. It was disgusting. You people of Israel accuse me of being unfair, but listen, I'm not unfair. You are. And that's God talking. I know I'm pointed like so many fingers at God, like, oh, you know what? I told you I didn't want to have this kid with dude, and you're unfair. You should have let me have this abortion. I wouldn't be. Yep, had them conversations with God, and God being like, I didn't tell you to lay down with him. I told you to leave him. When you seen that first red flag, you kept going. You seen the second one, you kept going. You seen the third one, you kept going. You seen the, and on and on and on and on and on. And it's a testament that God forgives, but he doesn't forget. You know, so you could be doing good, you could stop that, and then all these things happen, but you come back, you turn around, God will forgive you, but he doesn't forget. And this also is not a reflection on like his poor memory, but the perfect satisfaction of his justice through Christ's, through the atonement of Yeshua, and him taking all of those sins on, so we could be in this spot where we keep messing up and we keep coming back. You know how long it took? It literally took me a long time to start walking in, you know, this light of like the woman that God has called me to be. It's literally like smoking, drinking, like doing all of this stuff, foul mouth, like everything. And I felt no type of way. And God being like, nah. He bridged the gap so you could come and you could be forgiven, but you want to keep going back. You want to die. You want to be ugly. You want to be rotten. Because let me tell you, when you are one of these hardened women that does this, it's disgusting. Ezekiel 20:39. Go ahead and worship your idols for now, you Israelites, because soon I will no longer let you dishonor me by offering gifts to them. You will have no choice but to obey me. Me and that nothingness and this disrespect, you know, because if God has called me to be a certain type of person, that requires me to have some self-discipline and some control over my mouth and over the gifts and the things that he's gifted me with. But like, I didn't care. I was so stuck in my rebellion. And listen, I love to cuss somebody out. It's my favorite thing to do. That made me feel all warm and fuzzy inside. But this is like death and misery loves more death and misery. And I am just talking about me and this one facet of being a very disgusting person, a very disgusting woman. Now, maybe y'all like some of them chicks that talk like that and tell you you ain't nothing and you stupid and you need to shut up and do what I'm telling you to do and woo and blase skippy. God don't like any of that. He literally had to show me what I look like because I couldn't see it because I was too busy stuck in my rebellion. And this is just my mouth and my mannerisms, right? To even acknowledge that I was the problem. And this guy, oh, you know what, God, you should have just let it, if I never would have, and I had every excuse in the book, just like the Israelites. Something would go wrong, I come cry to God, he come through, I'm never going to do it again, I'm never going to be like this. It's the same thing. But it's dishonoring God, right? When I set myself up as an idol. So I ain't no different than the Israelites. If I'm setting myself up like, nah, you gonna respect me. You gonna talk to me like this. It's gonna be like this or like that, you know, because I put in this work. I didn't ask or want or need for nothing. I did it myself. So you gonna respect me and watch how you talking to me. Literally, all of that. And to be in this spot, like, and it's wild because I didn't expect to talk about this today. But I was so shocked. man, if Shatsky had a picture, it would be me. Like, you know, and this is, I just scraped my face with my nail super hard. But like, I'm dishonoring him by, you know, giving this offering to this idol that I had created within me. And I don't think a lot of people understand they create idols within themselves. Yeah, I had a horrible life. Yeah, I done had some bad relationships. Yeah, I done been through the ringer. But that doesn't give me the right to put myself in a position where it's like, nah, you gonna watch how you talk to me, because if not, it's gonna be woo, 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 blase, skippy. And listen, I was really good at shooting people down with my words. I perfected it for 30-something years. All that hate and anger and malice and regret is the perfect fuel to just make this engine go and be nothing. But this is having a heart of stone. This is being rebellious when it comes to God, and not humbling myself and looking more like Yeshua, being gentle, being kind, being meek. Because listen, they messed up when they gave me a gun. Really, but it's not even that. Like, you know, being rotten, and God had forgiven me so many times. Now again, maybe I'm the only woman who has went through this or acknowledged that something inside me needed to change, but it's a front. It's a front when you walk around being, you know, tough Tony. I was tough Tanya. Couldn't nobody say nothing to me. I'd have had no mother. I'd have had no father. You know, like, God didn't do anything. So he was like, I will no longer let you dishonor me by offering gifts to them. You will have no choice but to obey me. And God coming through, putting in that work, putting in that time, putting in that effort. I had no choice but to obey him and switch it up. It's crazy. But he's still, you know, God doesn't forget, and God ain't got no bad memory of how, you know, I was walling out. But he's super forgiving, and he's super merciful to even have a conversation with a whole, like, ratchet. I was completely ratchet, and I loved it. I'm gonna be ghetto for the rest of my life. It's perfect. Listen, I literally thought I was gonna be like 80 years old, smoking blunts on the porch, having a 40, cussing out little kids. I don't want to be that no more. Those goals don't match up with God's goals. Listen, we can all do some self-reflection. Find out an area that you are really, like, being rebellious in towards God. Like, that was my issue. That was my thing. And anybody could tell you, like, man, she horrible. I might be pretty, but my mouth was rotten. I could make you hate me. Like, ugh, she's too pretty to be talking like that. But, you know, God is good. Holla at God.